The moment is here, you can stop your search. It's Comics by Perch.
Hey everybody, this is Perch. I did some videos about boycotts, and it's interesting to kind of see how some of these things are rolling out in the post Bud Light world. By the way, Bud Light, it continues to be interesting to watch this story unfold and how much are they actually harmed and what's going on. Depending on the news media and the numbers you look at, the data is still either really small or catastrophic. And I just advise, anyone who's like making a big call about where things are going, it's important to truly look at some of the hard financial numbers. Right now, Bud Light or Anheuser-Busch InBev, the stock, is hovering at 61.46. So it's dropped in the last month. But really from the controversy, we're talking about going from 65 to 61. No, bear in mind, any drop is not good. But it is, it's not as it's being reported in terms of the pure financials of the company. The most important thing about the Bud Light story is, quite frankly, the media and the press. That's what's going on. Anyway. And I mean, you look at some of these headlines, and again, your mileage may vary, but I always like to have my news as boring as humanly possible. I just want facts. I do not want a bunch of exposition kind of in my news. And so you see, Bud Light crisis. It's unclear how U.S. volume drop will end in cataclysm. End in cataclysm? Chicago gay bars boycott bigoted Anheuser-Busch for distancing itself from Dylan Mulvaney. These headlines are absurd, and anyway, it's just funny numbers. But talking about something a little closer to home, a number of people sent me this story on Leyline Press. Now, what's going on with Leyline Press? And first of all, what is Leyline Press? Well, Leyline Press is a London-based tabletop RPG company who design indie RPG games for Salvage Union. I've never, and some D&D expansions, I guess. I don't know this company. Going to their website is, not terribly clear exactly what's going on. They have something called Mew, that's MEW, mutants and werewolves. Is it a game? Is it a graphic novel? I can't quite tell what it is. And bluntly, I don't have much interest in finding out. It's a relatively small company is kind of key here. Their Twitter account has 934 followers. They're following 733. It is very much an indie company, and it looks very rooted in the audience it's attracted toward itself, which is, frankly, a small audience. So at any rate, what happened with this company? Well, a couple days ago, not a couple days ago, they posted this statement. Dear all, today it has come to our attention that one of the editors on Salvage Union is currently working on Lamentations of the Flame Princess and has been involved with other problematic works that have received widespread critique for bigotry and other harmful issues. This it's a 5-part thread. They're not paying for the blue check mark, so they just they kind of break it up into five pieces. It says, we believe that these are highly problematic games by authors and companies whose politics and actions we vehemently disagree with. While we were unaware of this prior to hiring him, it was our responsibility to check the work history of the freelancers we work with. We are sorry that we did not do so as carefully as we should. We would also like to be clear that this editor had no developmental role in Salvage Union. He was hired on a freelance basis purely for proofing and editing. In order to avoid ourselves and other contributors being associated with these damaging politics and actions, we have removed the editor's name from all the Salvage Union books. We will not be working with them again in the future. Them, or maybe him, her, maybe, okay, them, we're non-gendering it, I guess. We want to apologize. There's that crazy British way of spelling apologize. We want to apologize to the tabletop community, including our readers and collaborators, for this mistake. We will vet all of our contributors more thoroughly in the future. If you have any questions or concerns, please get in touch with us directly at Hello Leyline Press. And that's the tweet. The tweet got 286 likes, 183 quotes, and it was locked, so it couldn't be responded to because a lot of the people responding to it basically started trashing it. And what's important here is it's again 286. Sorry, I've got it wrong. 286 likes, 208 quotes, which is not quite a ratio, but getting close to it. If you look at other things they have posted themselves, the likes are, 9. There's one for 20, 54. Much less. This huge, very little engagement for a lot of what they do. The post has been viewed 134,000 times, but 286 views. And then they basically retweeted some other things. They said 900 followers. Thanks for support. It means a lot. They posted that a few hours later. Got 33 likes and a bunch of comments. So anyway, what I don't know who these other companies are. I don't know if Lamentations of the Flame Princess is like what is that? In terms of its politics. Is it a right-wing Christian thing? I mean, I'm assuming, based on what I just told you, I'm assuming that anyway. I'm assuming that it's a right-wing thing. Just the way it's written and everything else. It says if I look up Lamentations of the Flame Princess, which is something I never thought I'd be doing, it says it's one of the darker, more disturbing products to come out of old school renaissance of tabletop role-playing games. There's no default setting in the game. It's designed to play metal-influenced, late medieval weird fiction. Okay. So I don't know what the story is there. Is it when I go to their Twitter account, I see again 800 followers. And, they're talking about there's Trash Mob, and I don't know. It seems to be going back and forth. What I don't see here, and again, I have no idea. They seem to be really pissed at WotC, but otherwise, I don't know. There's not like a bunch of Trump posts here, or and who knows? Look, somebody can educate me and tell me, well, like, oh, these guys are into scat porn. I don't know what disturbing means. But anyway, it's this controversy. First of all, it feels reasonably stupid, with one big exception. The reasonably stupid part is that it's a tiny company. All things considered, it's a tiny company. Now, one thing that we all need to recognize about comic books, nerd culture, any of that stuff, RPG games, is the people that get attracted to it. Your core audience for your product is most likely, again, small, and also has probably very similar politics or worldview, because you're not making a mass market product. This is not Magic the Gathering or Dungeons and Dragons or Marvel Comics or DC Comics. It's a niche, tabletop game company. They presumably have an audience. That audience presumably all kind of thinks very similar in terms of politics or those things. I have no issue with, this company playing to their base. In fact, that would be smart. If I was them, if you have 100 loyal customers that all kind of view things the same way, you should keep playing to that base. I mean, what else are you gonna do? You're not expanding. So, a bunch of the posts before they locked the thread I had people saying things like, I've never bought anything from your company and now I never will. A bunch of others saying, I'm never buying anything from you again. And my view is, uh, you never did. Meaning, put it this way, to the people of Leyline Press, um, they wish they had the customers and the purchases of all the people in Thread saying they won't buy it again. There's no way. But look at their website, look at their follower count. This is not a big company. So, a bunch of the people who say, I'm never going to buy anything, you never were. So, I mean, that's fine. Put them on a list and never buy from them because of this, fine. But by and large, this whole thing feels like a weird little, nonsensical mess. The people who are happy customers of whatever Leyline Press, most likely a handful of them. And when I say handful, like I'd be willing to lay hard money, like 5 to 10 people mailed whoever owns this company and said, do you realize that they give them a night letter? Do you realize that you have a highly problematic writer on your staff that at one point said, vote for Trump? Or I mean, it's the UK. I don't know. Vote for the Conservative Party. Men aren't women. Who knows what was said? But some kind of goofy night letter was undoubtedly sent to this editor, and they're like, oh shit, we got 5 of these. We better fire this guy. And that's how we can't put our 200 customers at risk. I mean that's I'm probably underselling it a little bit, but that's kind of basically how this thing went down. This is a tiny company who played to their base. Now, the one part, though, that is disturbing, and I actually do think is a big deal, is a matter of ethics. And the ethics are, it's in this line. And this was the part that caught me, and one of the reasons why, I wanted to talk about this and get your opinion on it, too. In order to avoid ourselves and our other contributors being associated with these damaging politics and actions, we have removed the editor's name from all the Salvage Union books. We will not be working with them in the future. Okay, I think it's perfectly within their right to not work with them in the future. It's a small company and they can pick who they want to work with, of course, like anyone. But I find it pretty shitty that they're basically going to remove the credit of this person, but keep the work they did. I think that is crap. I think it is. And then to do a little tweet thread about this, kind of stating their position, is highly, highly unprofessional. If somebody, it does work for you and you decide, oh, I don't like this person, you cannot work with them going forward, which means their name won't be in the credits. But to say, I'm going to selectively now edit them out is a hardcore douche move that is wholly unethical. You say you should have done a background check, but you didn't do a background check. Like, whatever. You should have gone through somebody's tweets. Fine. I mean, again, if that's how you want to spend your day, responding to kind of various, Karens who are sending you night letters, that's your business. It's you do what you want. But I do believe there's an ethical standard of if somebody does work for your company and you credit them as you're supposed to, as kind of the pact and the contract of this work demands. And then you turn around later and decide, I don't like this person. I'm going to erase them from work going forward, but I'm not going to have I'm not going to have it re-edited. Look, it's not like, what was the Gabe who did the coloring for Superman, the John Kent Superman book. And then the company decided to, we don't want to work with him anymore. And he made a bunch of statements. And so they recolored some of the stuff he'd already done. They basically hired somebody going to recolor it. And then his name wasn't on the comic. Okay. Now, whether you agree or disagree with Gabe, that was fair play by DC. It's their money. They paid to have it recolored, and then they didn't credit him. It would have been ridiculously unethical if they would have kept his work and then removed his name from the book. I don't know if DC has done this in the trade since, but, my belief, at least from what I saw at the time, was that the books that did have Gabe's work in it, they kept his name printed there because his work was in the book. Whether they were popping mad pissed at him or not, doesn't matter. There are people at DC who are not fond of Ethan Van Sciver, but when they republish, when they do a trade paperback with work that he had done, his name is printed in there because he did the work. That is fair. I've seen people on Twitter call for, this problematic person needs to be erased. If you're going to erase them, you have to erase the work as well. You're going to have to cough up the money and pay somebody to redraw or recolor or re-edit or whatever it happens to be in order to, get their name off the book. But if they did work, they deserve credit. And so to me, this Leyline Press, again, it's all a kind of a wholly stupid controversy because, again, we're talking about, tiny company bitching at other tiny company and a bunch of people saying, this is your Bud Light moment. No, it's not. They don't even have remotely close to the money or the revenue or anything else to be a Bud Light moment or anything close to it. But this idea of, we got a night letter, therefore we are going to erase this person from work, but we're going to go ahead and hold on to what they did. And granted, it's tougher when it's an editor versus, somebody like a writer or something, but you have the mail, you have the notes, you know what red lines the guy did. I'm assuming it's a guy. I mean, you have the work product of what the editor contributed. So get it re-edited. Have somebody else go through notes. If you feel strongly about your position, you got to do the right thing and keep it ethical. This isn't. This is not an ethical position. My stance is, look, companies can do what they want. It's their company. It's their money. Customers, likewise, can buy what they want. It's their money. It's their choices of what they consume. If a company wants to go hard right or hard left, it's their business. If a customer wants to buy those products, it's their business. I think it gets pretty dodgy when companies provide services to other companies start making choices. If your goal is we provide data analytics or hosting for companies. Oh, but we're not going to provide it for these other companies because they conflict with our values. I think there is a problem with that, quite bluntly. You set yourself up as a SaaS company, then you're able to make some choices, but I don't think you're going to have a free-for-all of changing that service around. Anyway, this is a funny situation, but I think that ethically, you got to print the person's name. Taking them out is hard stop wrong. Anyway, let me know your thoughts in the comments below. If you know this company or can shed more light on all this, more power to you. Please let me know. And thanks for listening.